back to the HistoryGuy.com War and Conflicts Updates podcast. Today is July 27th, 2020, and this is just a quick update on a recent clash that's been reported in the Middle East between Israel and Hezbollah. Hezbollah, as you may know, is the Shiite militia. It's more than a militia, it's really an army and a political force and part of the Lebanese government. They have been working alongside the Assad regime in Syria to battle anti-Assad rebels, as well as also reinforcing their own military power through creating their own missiles and rockets and getting those types of weapons from Iran, which is also, along with Assad, an enemy of Israel. So today, Israel reported that 4 militants armed with assault rifles crossed over the border from Lebanon into Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. Now, the Golan Heights, as you may know, is a plateau that legally, technically belongs to Syria, but was seized by the Israelis in the 1967 Arab-Israeli War, also known as the Six-Day War. Prior to that war, the Syrians had been using the commanding heights to fire down onto northern Israel ever since the 1948-49 Arab-Israeli War, which is when their conflict began. So in the 67 war, Israel seized that land and has kept it, and Israel claims it is now part of Israel. Most of the world does not recognize that, but it is Israeli-occupied territory. And Hezbollah in Syria and other anti-Israeli forces in the area claim or believe that makes it fair game to attack. So, going back to today's incident, Israeli troops fired on the intruders, who then fled back into Lebanon. Now, Israel's MO is that anytime there is any kind of attack on them, they respond. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So going back to what the Israeli military officials are saying, they said the infiltration occurred near the Mount Dove area of the Golan Heights. Israel offered no proof the militants were Hezbollah fighters. There's an assumption there. But Israel has engaged with Hezbollah forces in Syria lately. If you listen to our previous podcast on the Syrian conflict, you'll see that we talked about the recent back and forth between the Israelis, Hezbollah, and Syria. There was an Israeli airstrike that killed some Hezbollah fighters. Hezbollah is claiming that they are going to respond. But in this case, Hezbollah has denied that these militants were theirs, or these intruders. So, in response to this aborted attack on the Israeli outpost near Mount Dove, Israeli forces fired artillery rounds into Lebanon. Also, Israel reported that one of their military drones crashed inside Lebanon within the last day or so, as it was scouting out Hezbollah forces. Now, Israel is saying that they were tracking these intruders from inside Lebanon, and so they knew they were coming, and when they crossed over the border, they fired on them. Israeli has very good military intelligence facilities and assets and analysis, so they have a pretty good idea of who's coming after them. And by the way, Israel, as I mentioned before, going back to the 1948 war, has been in an official state of war with both Syria and Lebanon since 1948. There have been periods of less activity, but the 21st century is not one of them. So Israel and Hezbollah fought a war back in 2006. It was devastating for both of them. Hezbollah launched thousands of rockets and missiles at Israeli population centers. Israel responded with massive airstrikes that took out huge areas of Beirut, the Lebanese capital, and also followed up with a ground invasion that frankly did not go very well for the Israelis. So it's expected that at some point another major war between these two bitter enemies will break out. The Hezbollah group maintains a powerful armed force and is also a political party/faction in Lebanon, and is a part of the current Lebanese government, where multiple parties form a coalition to create a functioning governing body. As the defender and proponent of Lebanon's Shiite minority, this group enjoys the patronage of the Shiite power Iran, which of course is also a sworn enemy of Israel. And there's been a lot of conjecture that Israel and Iran will at some point have an all-out battle, which would then draw in Hezbollah potentially, or major Israeli attack on Hezbollah could draw in Iran. And if you've been following latest on Israel and Iran, Iran has been suffering a series of, quote, mysterious explosions that have been targeting their military, the Revolutionary Guards, infrastructure, and their nuclear program. Now, Israel is not saying that it's them, but they haven't really denied it either. So the basic assumption is that Israel is continuing its covert war on Iran. And to be fair, Iran has been waging a covert and proxy war in Israel for decades. So it's a war. It's just somewhat in the shadows. The real fear here is that a true all-out major conflict will break out involving Iran, Israel, and Hezbollah, which would be very, very bad for everyone involved, because it could possibly draw in all the different factions in Syria, which include the Turks, the Russians, the United States, Syria, of course, and various other countries that have a finger in that Syrian civil war mess. So, information on this latest clash, if that's truly what happened, since one side is denying it, is all over social media. And if you take a look at our latest internet post on our historyguy.com website, just do a search in Google for July 27, 2020 Lebanon-Israel clash with the name historyguy.com, and you'll find it. We also post some embeds from Twitter showing video and some pictures of the Israeli artillery explosions in the hills of Lebanon. Twitter users are claiming that the rounds are hitting Lebanese villages. That's not been confirmed by an official source in Lebanon or Israel as of this recording. So as things develop, we will provide updates on the website, historyguide.com, and through our podcast. If you like our information, please subscribe to the podcast. We're new at this, and we ask for feedback, and we hope that you found this interesting and worthwhile to listen to. So this is Roger Lee from historyguide.com, War and Conflict Updates. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.